What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Stock Market Summary Series. Hope you had a refreshing weekend, perhaps enjoying this cooler weather, depending where you are, of course. It was a relatively quiet Monday, especially in comparison to last Friday's move, but we're seeing some interesting developments under the hood, so stick around. We're going to get into the markets and what happened. But before we get into it, please know that none of this is buying or selling advice. Don't go making trading decisions based on anything we say here. We're just here to provide you some good old market commentary and trading education. Also, if you enjoy this videos, do us a favor and hit that like button. Helps us out a lot. All right, let's unpack today's action. We saw the market taking a bit of a breather, pulling back after last Friday's explosive rally. Felt like a natural pause, almost a reevaluation of momentum, perhaps.
Exactly. Yeah, a breather. And what's really insightful here is how different parts of the market reacted.
Yes.
The S&P 500, so SPY, it dipped net 0.44%.
Okay. And the others, Dow, NASDAQ.
Well, the Dow, DIA, needed 0.78%, pulling back from its record close. And the NASDAQ QQQ dropped 0.29%, maybe some tech fatigue after last week's big surge.
Makes sense.
But the Russell 2000 IWM, that took the hardest hit. It slid 1%, basically giving back a decent chunk of Friday's really impressive plus 3.92% breakout.
Wow, yeah. So a pretty broad pullback then. And looking at sectors, consumer staples, XLP, really led the way down, didn't it? Plunging 1.71%.
It did. That's quite a move for staples, usually more defensive,
Right.
which makes the lone bright spot even more, interesting.
Yeah.
Energy, XLE, actually managed a gain plus 0.26%.
Just energy, huh?
Just energy. And what's fascinating is looking within energy. You had Shell kind of popping out of a long consolidation pattern.
Oh, yeah. Classic signal.
Exactly. The classic signal for those watching the technicals closely. And ExxonMobil, XOM, it followed through nicely after, remember, dodging that bear flag failure we pointed out last week.
Right.
So this divergence with energy holding up, it suggests capital is maybe looking for sectors with stronger technicals even when the broader market is weak. A potential rotation theme to watch.
That's a sharp observation. And speaking of specific setups, two things really caught our eye for technical traders today, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's Europe Aerospace and Defense, ETF, EUAD. It's sitting like dead center in a symmetrical triangle pattern.
Right, at the converging 20 and 50-day moving averages, yeah.
Which means, as we often discuss in the mentorship program, it's incredibly coiled up, poised for a big, impulsive move.
It's a classic setup. Textbook, really, for those who know what signals to look for.
And also FUTU holdings. FUTU, that kept pushing toward its all-time highs.
It did, just as Grok Trade predicted it might weeks ago, actually.
Okay, so moving to the macro picture. Today was pretty light on big economic news, wasn't it?
Yeah, very light. Markets seemed mostly driven by those technical factors we just talked about.
Yeah.
And, digesting Friday's big move.
But don't let the quiet Monday fool you. It's looking like a busy week ahead for data.
Oh, yeah.
We've got durable goods orders tomorrow. That's manufacturing, business investment.
Well, it's a key indicator.
Then Thursday, GDP growth rate, the big picture on economic health.
Right.
And then Friday's the big one, personal income, spending, and especially the core PCE price index.
Yeah, PCE is critical. That's the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. Gives us insight into consumer behavior, price pressures.
Exactly. So these reports are pretty critical for figuring out if that potential September rate cut the Fed hinted at last Friday at Jackson Hole, if that stays on track.
Absolutely. The data will either support that idea or, maybe push expectations out further.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. It was a rough day for crypto.
Yeah, bit of a slide.
Bitcoin BTC slid negative 3.25%, hit its low for the day, too. Seems like it's struggling to find a floor after that, plus 3.97% rebound on Friday.
It is. Finding support has been tricky there. Now, in precious metals, gold, GLD, it eased a bit at 0.24%.
Okay.
But importantly, it's still holding firm above that trendline support we mentioned last week. And staying above its 20 and 50-day moving averages, it's locked in this massive weekly bull flag pattern.
Still constructive then, technical.
Very. A pattern that often signals strong underlying momentum. Now, silver, SLV, dropped a bit more, met as 0.91%, but still remains strong after Friday's, sizable jump.
Right.
We're watching to see if bulls can push it towards that $36 level. That's where it stalled out before.
Yeah, the overarching question, like we talked about last week, is whether they can really muster the strength to break higher and hold those breakouts this time. As always, guys, if you've got a stock you're watching or a question about the markets, drop in the comments. We might cover it in an upcoming episode.
Days like today, where you see these setups like EUAD's symmetrical triangle forming, that's exactly where Grok Trade's mentorship really shines.
Absolutely. We teach you how to spot these patterns, how to manage your risk effectively, and ultimately trade with genuine confidence. As a seasoned trader, knowing when to place a stop loss, or maybe more importantly, how to avoid those emotional exits, that's paramount.
Crucial.
And that's exactly the kind of practical wisdom we instill. There's a lot more where that came from in our program.
And what's really unique is the commitment, coaching,
Yeah.
until you actually recoup your investment. This isn't just theory. It's about getting real, tangible results and having support along the way.
So, wrapping up today. This market dip felt like, well, a natural breather after Friday's fireworks.
Yeah, digestion.
With energy stocks like Shell and XOM showing some relative strength, while technical setups like EUAD are signaling potential big moves are brewing.
So are you watching Bitcoin slide for maybe a new entry point, or are you betting on silver to finally break out and hit that $36 mark?
Wish you a great rest of the day, and we'll catch you in tomorrow's market summary.